I ain't made no videos. Now I'm going video overload. What it do? Listen, if you're not taking Corona seriously, I just want y'all to remember Hurricane Katrina. Remember, people didn't take that seriously either, and a lot of people still have never made it back or reconnected with their family. So, please take this thing seriously. Do what you got to do. Question: do y'all think Nicki Minaj is going to end up being the Mary J. Blige or the Whitney Houston of the rap game? Nicki Minaj is in a bad place. Nicki Minaj needs to get some therapy. She needs to look deep within. She needs to deal with the issues with her brother. She loves her brother. That is her brother no matter what he did. You know, people could look at him like he's disgusting or whatever, but that is her brother. And that affected her. But let's get real. Nicki Minaj married a sex offender. Her address has been put out because he had to register. She is a mega star. So in my opinion, she reminds me a lot of Whitney Houston. Remember Whitney Houston was put up on that pedestal and everybody thought it was Bobby who was dragging her down. But then you find out later in reverse, like she was already getting high and doing her own thing. So my thing is like Nicki married this man, Keith Petty, who is a murderer and a rapist. Call it what you want to. Whenever people speak about Kenny, they often say, oh, but you know, you could be a registered sex offender for many reasons. That is true, but those are not the reasons why he's an offender, okay? So let's keep that 100, all right? He is a rapist. It is what it is. And he murdered someone. Like, her life is in danger, whether she believes it or not, it is. Because she's aggressive as well. Because there was also word that she stabbed Safari. So we know that she's aggressive and she's violent. The reason why she is with Keith Petty is because she is Keith Petty. Hello? You are what you eat. You know what I'm saying? So, in a sense, that reminds me of the Whitney Houston aspect. And then remember they were saying that Nicki was doing pills and potions and shit like that. And Nicki was saying that. And I believe it. Because remember she was tripping, putting out all kind of bug shit. Now, I am happy that she took a break and she's like enjoying her life, I guess. But I'm sure home is not a happy place right now. It can't be, like, because this is fucked up. At the end of the day, you got to be looking at yourself and taking responsibility for your own actions. You know, they had the incident down, where the hell did they go? Trinidad, where he disrespected people down there. They felt a way about him and her behavior, like how she didn't walk amongst the people. When Rihanna was there, she walked with the people. I mean, who don't fuck with their people? You know what I'm saying? Like, bitch, come on. If it wasn't for the people, you wouldn't be where you are. You got to recognize and remember. Never forget the bridge that carried you over. And that goes for a lot of people in everyday life. People forget the people who do for them. You know what I'm saying? People get it fucked up and get it twisted. Always remember the people who looked out for you. For real, because they didn't have to do it. And them same people you meet on the way up, you'll meet on the way back down if you get it really twisted. Okay. Now, yeah, so she marries, you know, or allegedly marries Kenny or whatever. It's like she could have been single. She could have done better. You know, she could have weighed out her options. She does what a lot of black women do, and it is what it is. I speak on black women because I'm a black woman, so this could apply to all women, you know, but, when you don't know your value, this is what happens. And right now, she doesn't know her value. She doesn't love herself the way that she should. So in that aspect, if she don't get her shit together, she could end up like Whitney Houston dead. Or she could end up like Mary J. Blige. Now, y'all remember Mary J. Blige had a rough way to go, too. In the beginning, Mary shit wasn't tight. Remember, for years, people were like, Mary can't sing, but it was because Mary was getting high. Then, Mary was engaged to Casey from Jodeci. That was ugly. And I remember it was a show that used to come on in the morning on Channel 5 on Fox. And one morning she was on there doing an interview and literally her head was down on the table. I was like so embarrassed for her. I felt so bad. And it was like in 1996, I remember, because my baby was a newborn. And I was like, damn, Mary, you got to pull your shit together. And I worked with a lady whose daughter went on tour with her as a dancer. And she said that Mary was so jealous over Casey. She was so ugly and disgusting behaving toward everyone, you know. But it can be like that. When you don't like yourself and when you're angry and you're ugly and you're always lashing out, there's something wrong and going on within. However, Mary then went to rehab, fucked up again, marries Kendall. Okay, taking care of him and his family. Again, not knowing her own worth. I heard her on the Breakfast Club one morning saying how she The girl that Kendall ended up cheating with was some bitch that they had signed to their label. But it was kind of like she said, if he had asked her, she would have allowed it because she loved him that much. But you should never love a man more than you love yourself. You should never love someone else more than you love yourself. Real shit. Especially a man, because this is what will happen. They're going to love you, leave you. And, you know, when it's a wrap, it's a wrap. Nobody's obligated to stay with you. But, you know, right now, Mary's on the upswing. Mary's back on tour. Mary looks fucking amazing. Mary is singing her heart out. Mary is making that money. Mary might still be taking care of that Negro for a little while, but you know. It's, you know, happiness is priceless. So if she got to pay a little money to be free, then so shall it be. Okay. But which will Nicki end up being? Who will Nicki Minaj end up being? The Mary J. Blige or the Whitney Houston? What do y'all think? Let's hope that she really, really turns her shit around and pulls it together and takes a real deep look within. Because right now, shit is ugly for her. Really ugly. This cannot all be about sex. I think it's about jealousy too, because let's not leave out the Cardi B Offset aspect of this. You know, her and Cardi had that thing going back and forth. That was it was really unnecessary, but Nicki was in a competition with someone, her junior, which should have never been happening. She should have been behaving like the true queen that she says she is. That's what you should have been putting out there, like, I'm above that type of bullshit, but that's not what happened. But she was jealous about that. But then when Safari had the nerve, you know, he married Erica Mena, they had a baby, I'm sure she was hating on that shit too. Because that's what haters do. We know Nicki's a hater. We've seen her behavior. And she's angry. She's not happy right now. So it's understandable. I just hope that she will get on the road to growth and really start to make some changes. Because to me, it's two ways. Mary J. Blige or Whitney Houston. Drop down in them comments and let me know what y'all think. Later. Oh, don't forget, email me at loveandhatewithdlove@gmail.com so we can hate and love. All right, deuces.